Hi, my name is Rebecca and welcome to Yarn and Pajamas. Today is Vlogmas, day number 16. I do have a gift here. Me and my friend Summer, we did a swap for Christmas and we did it Advent style so that we would have 25 gifts to open up for Christmas. So here is my day number 16. Let's open her up and see what I got. Do you guys hear my clock? Look at this. A Harry Potter Hogwarts coloring book. Ooh. Look at here. There's a nice winter Christmassy scene from Harry Potter. Remember when Harry was having to steal the dragon's egg and the goblet of fire? Here's when Professor Trelawney has her vision. Oh, there's Mad Eye Mooney. And the three-headed dog. I can't remember his name, but he belonged to Hagrid. Oh, there's the mermaid mural stained glass that was in the prefect's bathroom when Harry takes his egg in to see what it is singing about. So, is there any other Harry Potter fans out there in the world? This is cute. Thank you very much, Summer. I am a huge Harry Potter fan, and I love me some good Potter. Okay, so speaking of coloring books, yesterday I got this coloring book, Christmas Gnomes, and I started a page out of it. Now, I've not gotten very far, but I'm just taking my time, enjoying what I'm doing while I'm doing it kind of deal. And so here's what I got finished. I got my flour and sugar. I went around and got all of the holly berries. And this is the scene that I picked. He's baking a cake, some bunches of cakes for Christmas, and that's the one that I wanted to color on. So I'll keep you guys updated with what little bits of this that I do. And I am using my gel pens here that I got. Well, there's a couple that's fell down here in the back. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to find me something to keep these in because I'm just not doing too good with that. I've spilled it like 3 times already. Okay. So are you guys ready for another Christmas story? I have got one picked out here tonight. It is called Snow Angels. Take off my glasses here and we will just get started. A few days before last Christmas, I ran over a boy on a sled. He flew out of nowhere during the season's first serious snowstorm. A small figure darting down a steep farmyard into the road just as my blazer came over a knoll. Through the veil of snow, I caught only the briefest glimpse of him before I sharply cut the wheel. A pale oval, an expression of startled eyes behind eyeglasses, a blue parka. I remember hearing the awful crunch, a muffled cry, and then my truck was sliding down a steep incline, plowing sideways through deep drifts, coming to rest almost on its side. I became aware of a hissing sound. Thought it was a broken radiator, then I saw the source, a shattered bottle of Diet Pepsi laying on the passenger side window. The groceries I had just purchased were all over the place. I remember staring at a burst box of berry-flavored Kicks on the dashboard and thinking absurdly how awfully disappointed my 5-year-old daughter was going to be. How long did I sit there? Perhaps no more than 10 seconds, but it felt like 10 minutes. Then I ripped off my shoulder belt, kicked open the door with my boot, climbed out, and clawed my way through the deep snow back up the bank. The boy was lying in the middle of the road, eerily still, crying softly, my legs, I can't move my legs. The snow was coming down like cinders from heaven. As I crouched at his side, I remember thinking two things with almost military clarity. Number one, I had to get him out of the road or we would both be run over by the next vehicle that came over the knoll. Number two, this kid was possibly going to die or at least never walk again because I had driven over his legs, crushed his back, and God knows what else. As I knelt there, a flood of soft paternal words began flowing from my mouth. Listen to me, son, listen. You're going to be okay, but you have to lie still and let me help you. First, we have to get you to the side of the road. Can you hear me? You will be okay. Trust me. Try and relax. Breathe deep. Everything will be fine. I don't know whom I was trying to convince most. He closed his eyes, nodded, and I placed my arms under his limp body and moved him gently to the shoulder, aware that I could be doing even more damage, severing what was left of a shattered spinal cord or destroying whatever muscle tissue or nerve connections remained. But the snow was coming down so hard and visibility was so poor that I imagined a plow truck roaring over the knoll at any second, bearing down on us both like some rampaging prehistoric beast. Can you move your fingers? I said. Yes, he replied, and he showed me. Snowflakes were accumulating and melting on his flushed face. I studied his eyes to see if he was slipping into shock. His eyes were clear. He was a good-looking kid. I realized maybe 12 or 13. Very brave. Then from behind us rose a heart-trending wail. I turned and I saw a large, coatless woman struggling through the snow, crying, "Oh my God, oh my God." 2 children were in her wake. She lost her footing and tumbled into the drift at the bottom of the driveway. I went to help her out, extending my hand and pulling her from the drift. Her face was a mask of anguish, the face of a mother confronted with the unthinkable. We stood there in each other's odd embrace for a moment, performing a little minuet on the slippery road, staring briefly into each other's eyes until we heard a small sound and simultaneously turning to the boy. He was standing up. "It's okay, Mom," he said, rubbing his back. "I think I'm okay." His name was Matthew, like the tax collector turned apostle. He was the son of a church caretaker. He sat on a chair in his mother's warm kitchen, holding back sobs. "Why are you crying, Matthew?" asked his mother. "Are you injured?" "No," he said with a trembling voice. "I was just thinking I could have been killed. I don't know why I wasn't killed." His younger sister, Sarah, explained what happened. When school was called off for the day, they'd gone into the back meadow to ride sleds. The farm's steeper front yard had eventually tempted them. They never even considered the danger of the road. I consoled him. We're all entitled to a few stupid stunts. Hopefully, we all survive them. "But I could have been killed," Matthew repeated in a kind of daze. "I don't know why I wasn't killed." "Because we were both incredibly lucky," I answered. "I think it was a miracle," said his mother. I went outside to watch the wrecker truck winch my truck out of the ditch. Both tires flattened, a bent fender, a small price to pay for an astonishing piece of luck. "Frankly," said the town constable, indicating the intersecting skid pattern and sled track, "I don't see how you missed running clean over him. It's amazing." "Damn near a miracle, I'd say," piped up the driver of the wrecker. I went back to say goodbye to Matthew and his mother. He'd gone to lie down, and his mother thanked me profusely. We actually embraced, and she began to cry. I told her I would call in a day or so to see how everyone was doing. "Are you okay?" she asked, studying me. "Yes, I'm fine," I replied, but I wasn't. In fact, I was more deeply shaken than I had ever been in my entire life. I knew that boy had disappeared directly under the front of my truck, yet somehow had survived with only an angry, red welt on the small of his back to show for it. I couldn't explain it. I might have said it was a miracle if I believed in such things. But miracles in our time have always struck me as the cheap parlor tricks of faith, something done by Vegas-style preachers to keep the crowd interested and the tithes coming. I went home and sat for a couple hours in our den watching chickadees dive bomb our bird feeder. I didn't feel like moving, didn't feel like talking. My wife took our 2 young children out Christmas shopping. As I watched the birds feed, the movie projector between my ears played the accident over and over. The snow stopped. It got dark. The children came home, bathed, and went to bed. I went up and kissed them and came down and turned on the evening news. 20 children had died from a Serb mortar shell in a playground during a holiday truce in Sarajevo. A mall in New Jersey had obtained a court injunction to keep the Salvation Army Santas from offending potential customers. 2 more foreign tourists had been gunned down in Florida. I turned the channel and discovered Jimmy Stewart arguing with a cherub-cheeked gent named Clarence, who claimed to be his guardian angel. I've seen it. It's a wonderful life, maybe 20 to 30 times, and it's never failed to put a lump in my throat. It's about a man who doesn't believe in miracles until he experiences one. Before I hit the boy on the sled, I had been having what my life calls my annual Christmas crisis. A private little tempest of the soul that begins somewhere around the winter solstice, when darkness descends like a closing curtain and news programs flood the tube with specials on this year's most memorable events, usually the most sensational human and natural disasters. It was worse than ever. I think because I'm a journalist who has written more than my share of stories illustrating man's contempt for his neighbor and his planet. I was weary of being a trafficker in the misfortune of others, although it has taken a recent golden opportunity for me to realize this. An editor called me and asked if I would write a book about serial killers. The advance was eye-opening. He was surprised when I passed on the offer. To tell the truth, I was surprised too. As career moves go, this was tantamount to leaving Congress to join a jug band. Call me stupid, definitely poorer, but I couldn't stop the tragedies of the world. I reasoned at least I wouldn't contribute to the roar of white noise coming down the information highway. I would write about happier things, golf, for example, and gardening. But in spite of my decision, on the morning of the big snowstorm, I was still in a funk. I wondered why. The autumn had been glorious. My rose bushes were lush. I'd even agreed to play carols on my guitar at the Christmas Eve service. The answer came to me slowly. You can take the journalist out of the world, but you can't take the world out of the journalist. As the days shortened, the old year's grisly toll poured forth from the newsstands and blackened my new determination to enjoy the season of light. And so, at the height of the storm, both without and within, disgusted with my disgust, I decided to go to the grocery store. It was empty save for a lone clerk totaling the items of an elderly woman in the checkout line. She was buying a copy of People and a potted poinsettia. I noticed she was wearing running shoes instead of boots. She smiled at me and said, "It's beautiful outside, isn't it? But you know, some people always drive too fast when it's snowing." I smiled and agreed. Kooky old bird. I got back into my blazer and headed for home. Turning onto Meadow Cross Road, however, I kept thinking about what she had said. As I approached the knoll by the farm, I cut my speed by half and turned my head to admire the lovely snowfall blanketing the world. I looked back just as the boy on the sled flew under my wheels. How do you say thank you to someone who enters your life for 15 seconds? All I know about her is that she likes celebrities and flowers and could use some new boots for Christmas. On Christmas Eve morning, I walked down the hill to fetch the mail and almost keeled over. The same issue of Time that contained its images of 93, a sleek collage of war, famine, fire, and urban violence, had on its cover a painting of an angel from the National Museum of American Art. "The New Age of Angels," read the cover headline. What in heaven is going on? I skipped straight over the pictorial mayhem to page 56 and started reading. In her best-selling collection of Angel Encounters, A Book of Angels, author Sophie Burnham writes that angels disguise themselves as a dream, a comforting presence, a pulse of energy, a person, to ensure that the message is received, even if the messenger is explained away. It is not that skeptics do not experience the mysterious and divine, she explains, but rather that the mysteries are presented to them in such a flat and factual, everyday, reasonable way so as not to disturb. Once again, I sat in my den watching the chickadees, mulling this over. I considered the possibility that my guardian angel, my Clarence, was an old lady in Nikes who thought the world would be a better place if we all slowed down and noticed the passing scenery. But then it was time to go to church. The service was held in a freezing barn with real sheep and a bracing air of fresh manure. Just the kind of place you'd expect the Son of Man to pick for a nursery suite. An overflow crowd, mostly families with children, heard St. Matthew's account of the virgin birth, and I played my guitar. As we went back out into the night, the snow began to fall as if on cue. Yet I couldn't help but think that a peaceful scene in New England is a tableau of terror in Bosnia. At home, Maggie suddenly let go of my hand and ran and flopped down in the yard. Her younger brother, Jack, followed on her heels, falling with his arms joyously spread out. "Look, Daddy," Maggie cried out, "snow angels." Frankly, I'd completely forgotten about snow angels, but I think the snow angels my children made last Christmas Eve were outstanding. Even more amazing in the morning, they were still there. This was contributed by James Dodson from Topsham, Maine. Wow. That was a miracle that little boy wasn't more injured, or that the dad wasn't injured when his blazer went over. That was a nice little story. What did you guys think of tonight's story? Let me know in the comments down below. And let me grab my glasses here. And I will see you guys back here tomorrow for day number 17. Bye.